I don't want to alarm anybody or get too ahead of myself, but it appears that we're not in a relegation battle. Hello and welcome to part 84 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have home games in the Championship against Charlton and Norwich. Since you were last with me, we've been having the time of our lives. We've won back-to-back games three Championship wins in a row against Reading, Sheffield Wednesday and Stoke. We did get ourselves knocked out of the League Cup between those two games, but we were playing the reserves there. We don't care about the League Cup. All we care about is the Championship, and so far this season we've won 4 and drawn 1 of our opening 7 games, which puts us in the utterly ridiculous position of 5th in the Championship, 7 games in, 1 point off top of the league. Anthony Harris is joint second on the goal scoring chart. Our 2 fullbacks are 2 of the three best players in the division. Matondo and Wearmouth are right up there for assists. We're looking like a good team. I assume this is just the newly promoted honeymoon period, although having said that, Ipswich, who finished 1 place above us last year, are currently 12 points behind us and rock bottom of the league. So I think we're playing quite well. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're obviously not in a promotion fight, just as much as we're not in a relegation fight. But I am starting to think a mid-table finish might be realistic for us this season, which would be an outstanding achievement if we manage to pull it off. So this is the team we're putting out there for the first of today's 2 games. This is the game against Charlton, and it's a very familiar looking side. We've very quickly, and I think that's probably the key thing that we've done this season that maybe we've struggled a little bit with in previous years. I've very quickly identified my best team and my best system, and we're just going with it. And it's very similar to the team that ended last season. And there's only really 1 or 2 positions where there's a little bit of question mark about who our best players might be. But by and large, we know who the best players are in the best positions, and we're playing them. Who'd have thought football management was as simple as that? So we've got Humphreys in goal. And back four of Wearmouth, Rogers, Wright and Gregson, with Harrison at the base of the midfield. Fernandez and Perry in central midfield today. That is one of those positions. In fact, both of those are those positions where I'm still not entirely sure what my best midfield 2 is. It's really the only place on the pitch where I've got any kind of doubt. But today we go with Fernandez and Perry. It could just as easily be Sawinski and McCormick. I think they're really the 4 that we're working with. Shane Phillips is probably feeling a little bit hard done by to never be getting a look in, but Harrison is excellent. And then we've got Moss in behind Matondo and Harris. Moss and Matondo both missed the 3-0 win against Stoke because they're both on loan from Stoke. So we've actually managed to strengthen the team that is currently on a 3-match winning streak. I don't know how good Charlton are. I assume we're due a good beating because the run of form we're in at the moment, we know it's not going to last forever. But I'm very much enjoying it while I can and enjoying getting points on the board. The sooner we can get to 40, 50 points, and I know that's a long way off, but if we could get there earlier on in the season and just never be in a relegation battle, that will do my blood pressure the world of good. So I want to calmly have them pick up where they left off last time because we were superb last time out against Stoke. And it's one of those situations where I wish I did the in-betweeny bits sat out here in my garage on my big computer so I could go back and capture it with the fancy NVIDIA thing that you can do. I forget what it's called. But because I sit in the house, in my pants, on my laptop, playing in 2D and having my laptop struggle along, there's no way to show you that footage. I could show you the highlights, but it just wouldn't have the same impact as showing you the full game. Not the full game, but the bit I saw. We were very good. I know what I mean. You know what I mean. We're not playing as well today, though. But then Charlton aren't playing particularly well either. I don't know where Charlton are in the league. They're just below us, so mid-table. Fernandez plays it across to Harrison. He was facing the wrong way, but does find the ball eventually. And here is Paul Perry. I thought he was going to stick it in from long range. I think this might be Perry's first league start in 2.5 years at home. He's a player who has, I wouldn't say unfairly, but he's been. Oh, that was poor from Humphreys. I think Perry has been the biggest victim of how good our midfield has been for the last several years because I think he's probably good enough to have been playing for us all that time, but we just had slightly better options. But he's doing a bit of a Mick Powell at the moment. I wish Humphreys would. That was poor. And half-time can't come soon enough now because we need to sort them out. I said a poor performance was coming, and this might be it. Humphreys is fired up. Well, goody for you. Would have been nice for you to just make that save rather than being fired up afterwards. Time for everyone to dig in. It is time for everyone to dig in. Like I said, though, we are due a defeat, so I'm not going to be too disappointed if it does come today. But I do kind of feel like when we're in the form we're in, home games against teams below us in the league, you've got to back us a little bit, surely. Here is Harris in behind, and Anthony Harris, 7th goal of the season. Anthony Harris has blossomed into a wonderful championship quality striker. He is playing like the Anthony Harris we had back down in the Northern Premier League. We didn't see this Anthony Harris in 2 seasons in League One, but he's now the highest paid player in the history of the club. He's on £6,000 a week, and I think he just likes money because now he's so highly paid. He's playing like 16-year-old Anthony Harris again. Moss bounces it off the crossbar. I think, it was a save from the keeper. So we get the corner, and it's Harrison to take. And now would be a nice time to go 2-1 up. Falls to Perry, who actually keeps it under control, but then gives it away. That was a bit of a mixed bag. But we're going to have our 10 minutes of passion now before we make substitutions. Mick Powell is readying himself. Powell did... We got an injury. Oh, Matondo's injured. So I was bringing Powell on for Matondo anyway, but now we get to make the change because it's forced on us. Yay. Powell did score his first championship goal recently, and I think he has as many goals in the championship as Matondo at the moment. Matondo struggling to make the step up to the championship. It's Anthony Harris who's been the man getting all our goals. Sawinski comes on for Perry as well as part of the same change. And should we get creative? A draw is a good result in this game. Absolutely a good result. But it would be nice to find a late winner. Fernandez also not playing particularly well. We've got another one of our youngsters on the bench, by the way, Drew Whalen. He's been around for a little while. Came through our youth team when we were down in the National League and is getting better and better. He's doing a bit of a Mick Powell. And is this a Patreon lad? Somehow... Oh, no, it's a Patreon person. Full name was that. So we have another Patreon boy who's doing a Mick Powell and has made it up onto the bench. So Drew Whalen, if you're watching, you're on the bench in the Championship. You're getting there. But you're not coming on today. We're going to bring Phillips on for Harrison, push Harrison into the centre of midfield and just try and grab a winner in these last few minutes. A Mick Powell winner would obviously be a comment section pleaser. So, Mick, if you could step up and grab a goal, please. No, we're just not even going to... Okay, we get one highlight, but it's a throw-in, and presumably then the end of the game. Yeah, there we go. A draw. A draw's not a disaster. We're 4 games unbeaten in the Championship now. And I think we were unlucky. On another night, we win that game. I just hope Matondo hasn't got a proper injury, because although he's not been scoring for fun yet, that's a problem, because it means Mick Powell now has to play for a couple of months in the Championship, or we have to change the system. Mick Powell's going to have to play, isn't he? With Furlong injured as well, we are losing some of our options from the bench in attacking positions, which is going to be a problem in games where we're not playing well, we're not scoring, or if we pick up any more injuries or suspensions. But let's just take a moment to have a little look at Anthony Harris loving life in the Championship. Ridiculous. 2 changes then for the Norwich game. As mentioned, Powell comes in for the injured Matondo, and we've brought Sawinski in for Fernandez. So we're going with Perry and Sawinski today to see how this combination looks as we continue to try and work out what the best central midfield combination is. Because once I've mastered that, then our team is officially finished and we can go and win the Championship, which would be nice. So the media have been praising you lately. Don't let that put pressure on your performance. Agreed. I know Norwich are down in a bit of a relegation battle themselves early on, down in the relegation zone, but they're still Norwich and we're still home. And you've got to expect us to probably struggle a bit against them. Wearmouth with the cross, and it's just plucked out of the air by the Norwich keeper. But we've moved up to 4th now. I don't understand how this is happening. It's ridiculous. We are going to come back down to earth with a thump soon enough, but until then, let's just keep winning football matches. Leo da Silva Lopez, presumably, unless there's another da Silva Lopez, former posh youngster, playing for Norwich. Who'd have thought it? Gregson with the cross, aiming for Wearmouth. Wearmouth tucks it back for Mick Powell, and there's Powell's second goal of the season, the first one you've ever seen him score in the Championship. And with 3 minutes on the clock, it's home 1, Norwich 0, and Mick Powell, for the first time in however many seasons now, is going to get a run of 6-8 games in the first team to show me that he's a Football League player. For years I've been saying he's a conference player who we keep around because we love him, but if he scores when he's in, he could potentially be one of those players that goes all the way with us and is still playing when we hit the next one up that we're not going to mention. We mustn't say its name, but Mick Powell is still certainly a first-team squad player at the moment, and he's just scored in the Championship. The man, how many times has he done a Mick Powell? It is utterly ridiculous. Wearmouth now, on the left-hand side, who's also having a fantastic season so far, but does give the ball away there. And because Gregson's so far forward on the other side, we really do push our fullbacks on. I like it. But it's not fun when the other team decide to attack, which quite frankly I don't think is very sporting. They should just let us have all the attacking play and Humphreys just flapping his arms around again, not getting anywhere near it. We do need a goalkeeper. I realise that. We just haven't been able to find one yet. You know how it is with finding goalkeepers in this game. Humphreys was our reserve keeper when we were in the conference, and he's now starting week in, week out in the Championship. So that gives you an illustration of the current goalkeeping situation. But Powell's intercepted there brilliantly. Plays it across to Harris. Harris is in and should have scored. Was Norwich the team that Harris went to? It was, wasn't it? So I think Harris playing against his old club as well, he's probably going to have some nerves. He's going to show him they were wrong. We were right about him all along. Norwich never gave him the opportunity he deserved. Anthony Harris needs to score a goal today. The Cyrenaic Nuhu Stadium, by the way, looking really rather full. And there is Anthony Harris. And Powell is lurking ahead of him, but Harris continues his run and gives the ball away. You can't have everything, can you? Right, Harrison with the corner now. Cross comes over, doesn't beat the first man, but Sawinski from the edge of the area with a good shot that just skims past the bottom bit of the big white stick. It's probably a technical way to phrase that, but we don't get bogged down in details here. Gregson with the cross now, aiming for Powell, who doesn't quite get there. There's Perry, back to Harrison, Perry again, back to Harrison again, back to Perry again. I mean, these two need to come up with a new idea, and apparently was playing it back to right. And now it's Perry again to Powell, and here's Wearmouth attacking as ever. He may as well just admit that he's a winger now, because he doesn't ever go back into our half and do any defending. Sawinski getting himself into a shooting position, and what a goal from David Sawinski. I've talked before about how he's the best midfielder at the club. I think we just have to acknowledge David Sawinski is the best midfielder at the club, and it's not a case of finding our best combination of players in midfield. It's about deciding who's best placed to play alongside David Sawinski, because what a goal. Home 2, Norwich 0, just before half-time, and as it stands, we're second in the Championship, with closing in on a quarter of the season gone. 17 points on the board after 9 games. We're almost halfway there to what our points target would be. Don't get complacent. Absolutely don't get complacent. And we'd like a goal for Anthony Harris as well against the team that stole him from us and then never gave him the opportunity to show that he was a Championship quality striker, even though the fact he's one of the top scorers in the division, that shows he was always a Championship quality striker. They just didn't give him the opportunity he deserved. Right, I think we're going to, having said all that ranting about the midfield and Sawinski, I think we're going to play Sawinski in behind the strikers for the last 20 minutes of this game, because Moss isn't playing particularly well. We know Sawinski can do it, so we're going to stick him in there. We are going to take Harris off, and we're going to give a debut to Drew Whalen. The home production line continues. Drew Whalen is potential to be a League One striker in the future, currently a National League North-South level. We ignore stuff like that. we're going to give him his opportunity and see if he jumps in and takes it the way the likes of Fernandes and Sowinski have done before him. And of course, the two strikers who were on the pitch from the start of the game, also products of the home production line, the homegrown players. Right, I don't want to do passion. Passion when you're 2-0 up with 15 minutes to go feels like getting over passionate. No one wants to be over passionate. So let's just try and... We want to see the game out, but they're knocking the ball around us like we're not even there. But Fernandes does intercept, and there is Drew Whalen using his pace. Whalen on his debut, but it's straight at the Norwich goalkeeper. Well, what do you expect from a conference striker? Right, Perry is going to be the final change, and we're going to bring on another one of the production line, Alex Carmichael. Obviously back here on loan, didn't really get any opportunity to play with us when he was here on loan last year or before we sold him to QPR, but he is continuing to develop as a player, and he's another one who's in that central midfield mix, and there are so many homegrown players on the pitch now. It's a sight to behold. I love the fact that this save has accidentally become a youth academy challenge of sorts. Something I've never embraced youth. Or certainly not our own youth in Football Manager before. Who'd have thought it would be the one that doesn't have a youth setup that produces all the players for me? But that was another cracking performance, and I think we have ended the episode second in the Championship, and it's nearly October. I don't think we're in a relegation battle, and this pleases me greatly. Let's have a look to see where we're going to come back. We don't want to go too far because I want to show you at least one more episode while the form is still good. So let's aim for the end of October. We'll do Birmingham and Palace, I think. I mean, they're all big games. We'll do Birmingham and Palace, and fingers crossed we'll still be in the top half of the table at the start of the next episode. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.